What's up, nail geeks, and welcome to another Little Box of Horrors video. I do apologize for the lack of face for the intro. I do have a face at the end of the video for the recap and sniff test, but as I was editing this video and putting it together, I realized that I did not hit freaking record when I did my intro. So I apologize about that. The preview is going to be up very soon, i.e. tomorrow. I'm hoping to get this up tonight before the wish listing goes up on the site. I have lots of amazing polishes to show you all. If you're new to Little Box of Horrors, this is a monthly collaboration featuring dozens of makers. And the ones you see in this video are the makers who chose to send to me so that I could review their polishes and or provide photography for the website that you may or may not see. There are many more makers in the shop that you can peruse when wish listing goes live, and you can check them all out there in the link in my description box. This month we have the theme Spooky Books. I'm super excited for this theme. We have some really excellent inspirations to check out. So without further ado, I'm going to quit yammering. Let's get into the swatches. Chapter 1 is BCB Lacquers, There Once Lived. This is described as a mauve curly base with strong pink orange gold shifting shimmer. This one's inspired by Grimm's fairy tales. Price is $13.50 and there's a cap of 150 bottles. Per usual, this is a almost creamy smooth formula in that it self-leveled really well. Now for opacity, this one's really going to depend on your personal preference. I do think you'll have pretty decent coverage on the second coat, but that third coat for my huge nails, y'all know the drill, was necessary for me. And I also thought it plumped out pretty well at the third layer. This one will dry down semi-gloss, so any top coat is just fine. Cracked Polish's Echo of the Unknown is a blackened beauty with gold shimmer. This one's inspired by a drawing from Chindi by Jack McDevitt. Price is $13 and there's a cap of 200. This is really interesting and just blew me away, especially in terms of formula. We're going to take this slow and steady, and this is real time, not sped up, exactly how I was applying it. And I wore it at one freaking coat. This is magnificent. One coat was plumped up perfectly. It dried down a touch flat, so make sure you use a good glossy top coat. I dare say this is an official one coater in my opinion, or you can do two light coats. Danglefoot's Goosebumps is a white to purple solar with mixed flakes. This one's inspired by its namesake. Price is $13.50 and there's a cap of 50 bottles. Goosebumps has a true curly formula. It's got that nice bounce back to it, so I chose to stop at two coats, and it also gave me that nice soft, almost quartz milky type of effect. Now please note, in the sunshine or a UV nail lamp, anything like that, it will switch over to purple, but please note this pigment was being so tricky, and unfortunately I was swatching at nighttime when I was doing this set, and I couldn't get any natural sunlight, but please note it is purple when it hits UV light. Danglefoot's second polish is Point Horror. This is a deep green base with orange to gold shimmer and holographic effect, inspired by its namesake. Price is $13.50 and there's a cap of 50 bottles. Point Horror is kind of similar to that HHC polish that I showed you all a couple of days ago. This is what I would describe as being a deeper, darker, vampier distant cousin to it. I'm going to suggest 3 really thin coats or 2 normal coats, your preference. But because it's a true jelly base, if you do 3 thin coats like myself, that base color is going to vamp out, in my opinion, in the way it's intended. It did have a touch of grit from the reflective glitter, so you'll want to use a glitter smoothing top coat. Dark and Twisted brings us a couple polishes for this month. This first one is Dracula, described as a navy blue base with large particle orange to red shimmer. This one's inspired by Bram Stoker's Dracula, of course. Price is $13 and there's a cap of 35 bottles. Dracula has a true jelly formula, meaning it's going to be drastically different if you choose to wear it at 2 or 3 coats. With that said, if you have a prominent free edge, you may see your smile line, so use a blurring base if that bugs you. I think a blue cream would be great if you wanted that more stark type of finish, but 3 coats and a glossy top coat was perfect for me. The next one is I Feel So Close to You. This is a blurple base with green to gold shimmer and multi-chrome flakes. This one is their reanimation that's coming back for this month. Price is $13 and there's a cap of 35 bottles. This one is also what I would consider a jelly type of base. It has a really flat dry down given how packed full of shimmer it is. This is another one very much like Dracula that I think will have a bit of versatility with it, in that if you wanted to wear, say, an undie with it, There you go. And my disclaimer of a nude to you cream or a blurring base, what have you, would work here if a smile line bugged you. Otherwise, I think 2 coats and a glossy top coat worked best. And I only did 2 coats on this one because it had a strong plumping effect. And I felt like if I went to 3 coats, it would have been too much. The third one is I have crossed oceans of time to find you. This is a juicy, vampy red curly base full of chameleon flakes and reflective gold glitter. This one's also inspired by Dracula. Price is $13 and there's a cap of 35 bottles. And I want to really highlight, for color accuracy, please refer to my full hand shot here in just a moment. This is a very deep, vampy type of red, but red on my photography is always my Achilles heel, and I try not to over edit my photos. So please note, the video portion I think is more color accurate. This is a juicy type of jelly, and I think 3 coats was best. Love Never Dies is also a Dracula-inspired polish. This one is an eggplant purple base full of orange to pink flakes. This one's $13 with a cap of also $35. We also have a jelly type of formula going on here. It's on the, again, true jelly side, and I stopped at 2 coats, very much like the previous one, in that I just felt like it was so plump. If I went up to a 3rd coat, it would have been too much and have over buildup, too much polish on the nails, if you will. So I would suggest 2 coats and a glossy top coat, and the disclaimer of an undie of your choice would apply here if that was a thing for you. Dark and Twisted's last polish is The Blood is the Life. This is a white curly base full of gold shimmer, red shreds, and gold glitter. This one's $13 with a cap of $35. So we have a curly type of formula. There's definitely a creamy type of aspect going on to this formula. I chose to take it up to 3 coats, and I thought it built up to an almost opaque type of milky effect. This is pretty decent on coverage. I don't see a need to really suggest a blurring base or anything like that. Again, it's like an almost milky type of buildup. So 3 light coats and a glossy top coat is what I would recommend. Emily DeMolly has 2 polishes for us this month. This first one is Carrie. It's described as a burnt orange base with large particle shimmer that shifts from orange to gold to green with a very subtle rose gold magnetic effect. This one's inspired by its namesake. Price is $12, and there's a cap of 160 bottles. This is a really unique magnetic polish, and I love that it's one of those that looks like a true chrome when unmagnetized, so you can wear it that way. Or magnetized, we have a really interesting type of similar color family going on while still remaining very obvious. Emily DeMolly's second contribution is another magnetic. The God Project is a gray base with iridescent flakes that shift orange, gold, green with a blue to purple shifting magnetic effect. This one's $13 with a cap of 160. I chose to stop at 2 coats for this one because it, again, as we're going on here, it had a very plumping formula and I didn't want to have too much polish on my nails. I thought 2 coats built up to a beautiful opacity, and this one's a touch more subtle on the magnetic effect, but it was still pretty obvious in person, like what you saw in my full hand shot. Again, 2 coats and a glossy top coat. The next brand is a new to me brand, and I had to stop and show you all these adorable little extras that came in my PR pack. Now, this is a new to me brand. I have never swatched for them before, and I was so thoroughly impressed with the polish and these little freaking details. It's little details like this that will always make me choose handmade, and this is just freaking adorable. Kudos to you, Inspector Dotty Polish. I so love the details. First up from them, we have 2 of them this month, is And Then There Were None. This is a red jelly base with wine red flakes, red to gold chrome flakes, and pink to red shifting shimmer. This one's $12.50 with a cap of 50 bottles. I, again, have to say, not only was I impressed with the little details that went along with the bubble burritos, if you will, but the formula was excellent on both of them too. And Then There Were None, I chose to take up to 3 coats. In retrospect, I probably could have stopped at 2 coats, so your preference at 3 thin or 2 normal coats, and any top coat works as this one dried down semi-flat. There is a nice soft but very subtle type of orange shift at angles like what you see on my macro shot. The next one is The Woman in Black. This is a black and gold flake in a blackened jelly base with golden and red shimmers. This one's $12.50, also with a cap of 50. I chose to stop at 2 coats with this. I think anything beyond that is overkill, and I was very impressed that this one plumped up so well for being almost what I would want to call a shimmer balm at 2 coats. Now this one did dry down a touch more flat than the previous one, so I would suggest a good glossy top coat that's a touch thicker, maybe one of your gloopier quick dries. Jen and Berries. I cannot express how much I love this one so much. This one is the thing that cannot be described. It's an emerald green linear holographic. This one's inspired by the Mammoth Book of Cthulhu. Price is $13.50, and there's a cap of 300 bottles. This is delicious, and as an old school indie fan, I will never get tired of straight up rainbow action, and it almost looks like there's a touch of shimmer with how strong that holographic flame is. I'm going to suggest 3 coats. I wanted to maximize the hell out of the rainbows on my nails, so it was 3 coats for me, though your preference, you can stop at 2 and a glossy top coat. Lemming Lacquer has a couple polishes for us this month. This first one is Bag of Bones, described as a magenta purple base with antique gold shimmer. This one's inspired by its namesake. Price is $13.25, and there's a cap of 100 bottles. This has a jelly type of formula to it. It is quite viscous and easy to build up. Another one, I guess we're having a theme at this rate for this month, that I stopped at 2 coats because, again, you can see on my full hand shot here, it's quite thick and plump on my nails, so a 3rd coat would have been overkill. You may want to use a blurring base coat for in super bright lights. It's a touch on the subtle side, but if you're wanting to really cover all your bases, sure, use a blurring base. The next one is Gerald's Game. This one is a dark blue with shimmer, also inspired by its namesake. Price is $13.25, and there's a cap of 100 bottles. So we have another jelly type of base going on here. This is one of my favorite color combinations where we have this midnight blue type of color with a very strong shimmer going throughout it. I love this type of shimmer. It is super rainbow-like, and you'll see on my macro shot here in just a moment that it almost pulls like a multi-chrome in how it's shifting. I'm going to suggest 2 coats on this one as well because it is quite dense in formula. Anything over that's going to be overkill. You'll have too much polish on your nails. So use a blurring base if a tiny bit of a visible nail line bugs you in super bright lights. The third one is Rose Madder. This is a purple pink base with bright pink shimmer. This one's $13.25, also with a cap of 100. Rose Madder also has that really deep type of viscous formula to it. And I say that on all of the Lemming polishes. For the most part, most of them don't really require any, say, thinner added to them. At least this bunch for this month, they're very, very smooth. But again, they're very viscous in how they apply. So across the board, I would have to say 2 coats and a glossy top coat for all of them. This next one is the Green Ribbon. This is a deep dark green with green shimmer. P.S. in our PR notes, it states, this is a green version of All I Really Want. If you got that through PPU a couple months ago, I think a year ago at this rate, you're not going to want to miss this one. And I agree, this one's very pretty. This one's also $13.25, cap of 100, and this one's inspired by a dark room, a story that scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. Anyways, again, 2 coats and a glossy top coat as we got a harsh dry down, which is indicative to very strong shimmer finishes. The last one for Lemming is Under the Dome. This is a deep purple jelly with orange shimmer. And again, we have the same price and cap information going on here. Now, I want to note that the purple in this one did stain my falsies just a little bit. So make sure you wear a good base coat, whether natural or falsie like myself. And this one, again, we have that very heavy type of dense jelly formula. I will caution you, make sure you go in very light on your brush strokes to prevent any potential streaking, which is usually the case in very strong shimmers like this. So let that paddle brush do the work for you. Night Owl Lacquers, You Don't Need Anyone's Permission, is a dark, murky teal curly base filled with multichrome flakes that shift purple, red, copper, and gold. This one's inspired by the book Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas. Price is $12.40, and there is no cap. So I do agree with that official description. We have a curly lean in that it is very much plumping, as you can see on the second coat here. And for formality's sake, I chose to see what that 3rd coat would look like. And I'm not mad at it, but I will say if you choose to take this up to 3 coats like what I did, go incredibly thin. This plumps up very quickly on the nail. And depending on your top coat of choice, you might want to use a glitter smoother as this one dried down on the thirsty side because of all the flakes. This is very vampy and just delicious in this like murky type of mosaic vampy effect. Paradox Polish has two polishes for us this month as well. We have a dream within a dream. In my rush to make sure I get this video out on time and get back to my regularly scheduled programming, I do not have official descriptions for either of these, but that's okay. A dream within the dream, in my opinion, is a blue tinted jelly base loaded up with multi-chrome flakes in an array of sizes, and I'm seeing some little sparkles going throughout it too. What's going to catch your eye the most is those multi-chrome flakes. I chose to take this one up to 3 coats, and it gives you an almost pseudo opacity with the flaky action going on. And the backdrop to me is what I would consider an almost sheer. So a little bit of versatility with the tint on this one being so light, but I thought it looked really cool by itself. So 3 thin coats and a glossy top coat. Paradox's next polish is Hate Bouquet. This one is 13 with a cap of 100, and it's a multi-chrome magnetic topper with blue flakes. This is very pretty. It has a wonderful chrome-like feel on application that's super easy to build up. I would suggest 1 coat over really any undie, and it's going to give you that really cool type of purpley to gold shift. On my index and middle finger, I'm using my ring magnet, my favorite. And then the other nails, I'm using the velvet magnet effect. Again, I just still think it's translating really well to what I like on my photos, but in person, it's really cool. Peculiar Polish brings us Michonne. This is a black base with red shimmer, silver reflective glitters, bar glitter, and white hex. This one's inspired by The Walking Dead. Price is $13.50, and there's a cap of $50. So we have a somewhat jelly base going on here. And this is one of those polishes I kind of kicked myself for going up to 3 coats with it. I think 2 normal coats is going to be best. That third coat was kind of, I don't know, it was kind of almost overkill, even for my wide load nails. So I don't know, going for 2 normal coats. It almost has a touch of a grit to it from the silver reflective glitters. So treat it like a reflective glitter finish and let that first coat dry down for just a couple of minutes and then do your second coat and you're good to go. You might need a glitter smoother because of the glitters in this. Rain Dance Polish has a couple contributions for us this month as well. This one's Face Madness with a Plan, described as a wine red base with red pearl shimmer. This one's inspired by Bird Box. Price is $13, and there's a cap of 40 bottles. This has a beautiful standard type of polish formula to it. It kind of almost gives me these retro type of vibes in the color of it. It's so pretty and just a very classic type of color, very vibrant. I think medium to deep skin tones, this is going to pop really well against you. I'm going to suggest 3 really thin coats or 2 normal coats and a glossy top coat. The next is Man is a Creature He Fears. This is a teal Crelly base with red to orange Aurora shimmer, also inspired by Bird Box. Price is $13, and there's a cap of 40 bottles. This is interesting to me because that shimmer, to my eyes in person, it is so ridiculously close to unicorn pea pigment, that elusive pigment that people like myself, I collect them. It looks very much like that. And it's so fine particle and delicious. I love it to pieces. And it's got that beautiful, strong orange at most extreme angles. You can kind of see on my macro shot here, there's that nice warm type of shift. I'm going to suggest 3 coats and a glossy top coat and a potential blurring base if a visible nail line bugs you. And Rain Dance also brings us a topper this month. This one is They Are Infinity, described as a topper with shifting iridescent glitter and blue-green shifting shimmer. This one's 13 with a cap of 40. So I chose for my photos to use black so you can see the color roll from these really strongly iridescent type of glitters and shimmer going on with it. Very, very pretty. On the Will It Topper segment, I chose to show it over a medium type of green to show the versatility. But either way, it's really pretty. You may want to use a glitter smoother with this one, as it did give me a touch of texture from the iridescent glitters. Sweetheart Polish brings us Dreamcatcher. At the time I'm recording this, I do not have the official description for it yet, but in my words, a magenta berry type of base. We've got some shimmer going on here, and there's quite a bit of a holographic spark going throughout it too, almost in a slightly larger particle size than the usual holographic effect we see. This has a beautiful type of shimmery, shifty, sparkly goodness to it, for lack of better words. In person, it is incredibly flattering too, especially on medium to deep skin tones. I do love a good wine or a berry type of base against myself. I'm going to suggest 3 coats and a glossy top coat. Victorian Varnish brings us It Is Also Sublime. This is a squishy blue jelly base with an aqua green gold aurora shimmer, purple reflective glitters, and ghost flakes. This one's inspired by 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Price is $13.50, and there's a cap of 200 bottles. True jelly formula going on here. Your preference if you want to stop at the second coat. I did think at the time that I had excellent opacity, but I really like plumping out finishes like this and just maximizing all the stuff on my nails. So I personally liked the third coat, but please note, you'll need a glitter smoothing top coat to smooth this one out. So if you choose to wear it like me, make sure you go in incredibly thin on your coats to leave room for your glitter smoothing top coat. This is so sparkly in person. What Addiction also has two polishes for us this month. This first one is the Final Fall, described as a bright emerald green with green shimmer and a touch of reflective glitter and green holographic glitter. This one's inspired by Edgar Allan Poe's The Fall of the House of Usher. Price is $13, and there's a cap of 25 bottles. We have a somewhat jelly type of formula going on here, but it built up to opacity really well between that second and third coat. So again, your preference, but for my huge nails, I really liked that third coat, and I thought it built up really well in a really flattering type of green. Please note, for color accuracy, please refer to my full hand shot on the video, as I thought my photos leaned a touch light. What Addiction's second polish is Veil of Guilt. This is a dusty pinkish plum base filled with pink shimmer, a touch of reflective glitter, and a touch of micro black glitter. This one is also inspired by Edgar Allan Poe, specifically the Telltale Heart story. Price is $13, and there's a cap of 25 bottles. Veil of Guilt also has a somewhat jelly formula, and it built up really well for my huge nails at 3 coats. If you have shorties or nubbins, you might be able to get away with 2 coats, but I think if you have any type of free edge of any type, falsy or not, I would suggest that third coat just to kind of give you that extra coverage. I would also suggest a somewhat thicker glossy top coat to smooth out the glitters, though I didn't see it warranted a glitter smoother. Wicked also brings us 3 polishes this month. This is Marked, described as a red base with purple, pink aurora shimmer and holographic effect. Price is $14, and there's a cap of 50 bottles. Marked is the one outlier out of the trio for Wicked that I chose to take up to 3 coats. This one, in my opinion, has a true jelly type of base. It's going to be pretty different if you stopped at 2 coats, more warm, if you will. But as we build it up to that third coat, it gives just better shimmer payoff, in my opinion. So I will say that if you have a very prominent free edge, as you can kind of see through my falsies here, you may want to use a blurring base, your choice. It's pretty subtle though. The next contribution is Betrayed. This is a black base with blue, purple to pink aurora shimmer and holographic effect. This one's also $14 with a cap of 50 bottles. Betrayed has a very juicy type of formula to it. I would say it leans a bit more on the jelly side, but it is quite viscous, and again, in a good way, like the Lemming lacquers, in that I could stop at 2 coats. This will have a pretty harsh dry down. It's packed full of shimmer goodies, so use a good glossy top coat of a somewhat thicker variety and you're good to go. This is quite glowy on that blue factor. I liked how vampy it is against that black base. And then lastly for Wicked is Chosen. This one's a black base with orange, red, pink aurora shimmer and holographic effect. Same price and cap info. And this one also has a very similar feel in formula and opacity as Betrayed, the blue one. So I chose to take it up to 2 coats and I stopped there. I could have gone in for a third coat, but I felt like it was quite plumped up on the second coat and I didn't want to do too much polish. So just throwing that out there, this one is also what I would consider a 2-coater. If you wanted it to be, say, super stark, as you can kind of see through my falsies, just the tiniest bit, you could use a black base, but it's so subtle in person again. Zombie Claw brings us I'm Just Here for the Books. This is after a bookmark, and it's described as a glow-in-the-dark base with cutesy glitters all in it. I have to compliment Zombie Claw. I had no issues getting those chonky glitters out of the bottle with a good shake per usual, and I didn't have any problems in terms of fishing to get a variety of shapes either. Now, this is intended to be almost like a topper, I think, in that, you can absolutely use this over, matchy-match colors or even other types of lighter colors too. But When you wear it by itself like this, it gives that jelly sandals type of vibe. And if you wanted to get super control freak like me, I very much like to have a very even dispersal. And sometimes even though the brush is getting out many of the glitters, it's not applying, say, in the most even way. You can do what I did and just use a dotting tool. This will glow in the dark, that nice, lovely, bright color you see there. Per usual, my disclaimer on glow-in-the-dark polishes, I do charge mine with a LED nail lamp just to kind of kickstart it. And it's just a way to charge it and get it nice and bright to scare the crap out of yourself at night. And we're going to wrap this up with the Will It Topper segment. This is where I use a black swatch stick to demonstrate if polishes have layering capabilities. Lots of finishes here. The BCB kind of works. Just be even-handed on how you're applying it. The cracked, this polish is so ridiculously beautiful. It does look cool over black, but I don't think you're doing it justice, especially for that somewhat blue type of tint I'm seeing in here. The Danglefoot, both of them work exceptionally well. No issues here. You can get a little creative. The Dark and Twisteds. Now, this is the beauty of jellies, in my opinion. You can get hella creative with these, especially these purple and blue type of colors. And the red, yeah, I would stick with more matchy-match, but the blue and the purple, you can kind of swap, making up words here, in terms of undies if you wanted to get a little creative with them. So that's pretty cool. Now the Crelly, the Blood is Life, I personally would not topper that one. The Emily DeMolly's also look really cool over black. I loved how Carrie looked. And then the same thing with the God Project. It looked really interesting and took away that milky effect. The Inspector Dottie's also passed the test too. I was pleasantly surprised, especially given how the woman in black was so ridiculously opaque. It just kind of vamped it out. Jen and Berries, I will be very upset with you if you topper this one. We don't like rainbows toppered. Dehorning a unicorn. The Lemmings, very much like the Dark and Twisteds. My disclaimer applies here for them. Now, these have a heavier type of formula to them. So if you choose to kind of mess around with different undies, you might get less of a, say, color theory thing going on with them. Under the Dome looked really cool over black, but again, my disclaimer of potential streaking applies on this one. If you topper it, just be very light on your coats. The Night Owl is really cool over black, but I don't think you're doing it justice. And the Paradox polish, the blue jelly one, is really cool over black, would look really cool over other mermaid colors. Peculiar polish looks ridiculous over black. I really liked it. I think you have some versatility there. The Rain Dances also passed the test. Now, I want to note that Unicorn Pea looking one, it's not pea, just throwing that out there, but that one is really cool and you can absolutely get some creativity with matchy match or in that color family for the tint. Sweetheart polish looked beautiful over black as well. We have lots and lots of polishes passing the white topper test, especially the Victorian Varnish. This one looks ridiculous over black, very, very sparkly. What Addiction looks awesome too. Both of them I thought passed really well and looked really cool over black. The Veil of Guilt though, if you want to go with lighter colors, maybe stick with matchy match. The Wickeds also work really well over black, but again, as you saw previously, they built up really quickly in opacity. So I don't know if you would dare to venture outside of a black undie per se. The Zombie Claw is straight out a sheer type of thing going on with it, almost like a glow-in-the-dark topper. So your preference on how you want to do this one. So that's it for the swatching portion of the video. I do have one extra goodie to show you all. Last month, I totally geeked over Victorian Varnish's obnoxious packaging sounds, warning you all here. I geeked over Victorian Varnish's Cuticle oil. And this month we have, I'm opening the package. I promise I'm not being rude. I will maintain eye contact with you. This is the Cuticle oil for this month. And it's quite magical. This is so cute. So wait till you see it. I have to say I adore their packaging for their cuticle oils. This month we have another really cute bottle. And are you ready? You ready? I was planning on doing this like super dramatic reveal so that we could all, ooh and ah together. This is it for this month. It's a little bit different from last month. I haven't opened it yet or anything, just to kind of have that newness. And I mentioned tassels. You do tassels and I am wrapped around your finger. So I'm going to open this real quick so we can do a quick smell test. Obnoxious packaging sounds. I apologize. Again, if you don't like ASMR, I'm right there with you. And I cringe when I have to edit my videos because I end up replaying my voice and stuff many, many times to edit. So anyways, here it is off the bat. Open it up. I think this one might also have the doe foot applicator too, maybe. Yes, it does. So you can see that right here. This one's almost like a tropical type of smell. It's really nice. Almost like shoving it up my nose. It smells so good. Oh, that's really good. I recently joined a gourmand fragrance group. Talk about dirty enabling, but I still love these like yummy type smells. This one, it's fruity. It's fruity and I could definitely use this in a body splash, like a body spray type way. I just got some on my finger. It's really nice. The oil is very light. Let me put this right here so I don't drop it because the cats are right next to me. The oil itself, if I'm not mistaken, is either jojoba based or something along that nature, where it's very light. And this is one of those oils that I typically use whenever, because I've been using last month's. I'm in love with that bottle and the tassel. It's a lighter type of oil, so I use it after I wash my hands throughout the day. So it's one of those all day, every day type things. And that scent is so good. Let me get you the actual info here. The official scent is called Wine in a Good Book. It is blush wine for the scent. Interesting. The scent description officially, make sure my battery's not dying here, is a burst of lemon and orange peel, enveloping a fruity accord of white peach, star apple, and juicy pineapple, while bubbly nuances of Prosecco accents the fragrance. This one comes in the tassel in one of 4 options: blue, black, pink, or clear container with doe foot applicator. I'm dying to see what the pink looks like. This is what the black looks like. It's so cute. I love it. It's like my inner 13-year-old who was very goth loves this so much to pieces. It is so pleasant. It's peach is what it is. Peach and just crisp, a crispy type of peachy goodness. I can definitely see where it's saying like wine, like a Prosecco type thing. Now that makes me want wine, damn it. Anyways, these are capped at 65 of the cuticle oils for 10 each. And that is just so freaking cute. So you can pick I believe you can pick your color. I think, yeah, it says 4 options. So I'm pretty sure you can pick the color that you'd like. The box, just big bells and whistles right now. The box usually opens up on the 18th of the month. They have like pushed it a little bit just because there's so many releases. And I mean, just watching these massive videos every month, I totally agree. It is being moved to the 22nd of the month. February 22nd through February 28th is when the site is going to go up for official shopping. So I will link you all below to Little Box of Horrors if you want to get in there and check that out, see the preview, all that fun stuff. Again, there are several more products that are also going to be in the shop that are not featured in this video too. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.